Today's daily Bible thought starts in one of my favorite books of the Bible, the book of the Acts of the Apostles. And it is an exciting book in the Bible. They all are, but this one has a lot of action. So if you like action and things happening, then you should read the Acts of the Apostles. It's interesting. Most of the verses this week will come from Acts, not all of them. And there is kind of a theme, but I'll let you decide that yourself. So if you want to understand today's verse, then you need to read Acts chapter 9 and learn about Saul's conversion. When Saul was walking on the road to Damascus with Roman guards with him to go arrest Christians, he was struck down by light, and Jesus appeared to him. And Saul was blinded and didn't see for 3 days, didn't eat or drink for 3 days, and then God healed him through Ananias. So it's an amazing conversion story. So read all of it. But when Paul talks about it later, when he appears in front of King Agrippa, Acts 26:14 includes a little bit more of the details of that encounter that Paul, had with Christ. And here's what happened. So Acts 26 verse 14 reads, "And when we had all fallen to the ground, I, Paul, heard a voice saying to me in the Hebrew language, 'Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me? It is hard for you to kick against the goads.'" So a little bit more information than what you'll hear in Acts chapter 9. Also, the reason he mentions that the voice speaks to him in the Hebrew language is because he's speaking to King Agrippa, who is Roman, and he's talking about the fact that Jesus was a Hebrew. And so he spoke to him in the Hebrew language. And then the whole idea of Saul persecuting Jesus is interesting because he was going after Christians. But if he was going after Christians, he was really going after Jesus. And then this last phrase, "it is hard for you to kick against the goads." Well, a goad back then was this pointy thing. It was usually a thin piece of wood that was sharpened down to a point, and it was attached to like a staff or a rod. And then when they were driving their oxen to make the oxen go where they wanted them to go, they'd poke at them with this thing, with this goad. And a lot of times the ox didn't like it. Well, go figure. Who wants to get poked at with something sharp, a sharp stick? So the ox would like kick back at this goad. Well, if the ox did that, it could get its leg hurt. It would get cut on the goad. Well, Paul was kicking against God. He was working against the very God he claimed to serve as a Jew. But because he went against Christ and he was arresting Christians to take them away, he was kicking against the goads. So he was kicking against the very purpose God had in life for Paul. And if you read the New Testament, most of it was inspired and written through Paul. So what is it that God has purposed for you? And are you kicking against the goads? Are you like, "No, God, I don't want to do what you're telling me to do"? Are you just avoiding what is best for you? I don't know. You have to talk to God about that. But like I said, read Acts chapter 9, find out how it all happened, and then read Acts chapter 26 and Paul's account of this to King Agrippa. And so don't kick against the goads because you'll get hurt. And it's a waste of time because God's purposes can't be thwarted.